All right, the Maschine 3 update is here. We've been waiting, I don't know, like 9 years or something for this. And I want to go over just what I think about this update. I have a few things that I wish that were in there that aren't, so we're going to talk about those and look at the things that are in there and help you decide if you need to actually pay to do the little update. It's not a very expensive update, and one of the things it comes with is this new Maschine Central pack of sounds that you may not even need. So we'll have a little look at that, and what I want to do going forward is find out from you what you need to see from me for videos. So let me know what you want to see on the new features. I'm just going to be scratching the surface of a bunch of them today. They do send me the software for free. That's why I put paid promotion, but they don't pay me to make the videos, of course. And they have no say over what I say in these videos. They don't tell me what to say. So it is purely my thoughts. And I'm really appreciative of the fact that I can be honest in these videos. So I'm going to do that in this video. If you do want to help me out, I do have affiliate links in the description. So that's a way to help me out. But honestly, I just want to make sure that you guys are buying the stuff that you need. Please don't get angry at me if features are missing that you really wanted, because I just show the stuff off. That's all I do. And if you have thoughts, please share them, but be nice. Okay, so you can tell right off that the look is completely different. You know what I should do is pull up Maschine 2 so you can actually see the differences and compare them. Okay, so here we have old looking, actually, Maschine 2. And it's funny because when I first opened up Maschine 3, I was like, man, I'm not crazy about some of the look of this. It's so dark now. And I gotta say, I always choose, if I have preferences, to go with the darker modes of things. But in some ways, they've gone and removed some defining lines of different sections. And that seems to be a common theme I'm noticing, even in things like Cubase, and it's like, the new look is just about as flat as you can possibly get. They remove borders around buttons and stuff like that. But for the most part, it is exactly the same, just a slightly different look to the interface. And I'm sure I'll get used to that over time. And if we look at knobs, for sure, they've gone and made things a lot more flat. All right, 4 days older, Jeff here, and I did just get the manual, so I now know how to do stem separation, which I think is a thing a lot of you are gonna wanna see. I would have been ripped apart if I didn't show you how this actually looks, how it sounds. So what is stem separation? Well, it's just the ability to take a multi-track piece of audio and extract things like drums, the instruments, and the vocals, and the bass from that music. So assuming you have those kinds of things in a track, it will analyze it and try and pull out just the drums and just the bass. And this is a really complex thing and has only been possible really for the last, 5 or 10 years, and has finally made its way into consumer software that doesn't cost a fortune very recently. So now Maschine has this ability. I'm not super excited about it because I don't do a lot of that kind of work. I'm not taking music and then ripping it into its constituent parts. I was talking to my friend Bo Tyler, and he was saying what he likes it for is using it on his own music, maybe tracks that he made a long time ago that he doesn't have access to the stems for. So that's a great use for it. And you got to watch copyright issues and things like that. So I don't find myself needing this very often. But another thing that it'd be great for is taking loops that maybe have a really cool flute lick in it, but you don't want the drums, you don't want the bass in there. So you can just get the flute out or whatever it is, right? I know they're using the technology from Isotope, which I already have. And so another reason why I'm not just like over the moon about this one, but I think a lot of you might be happy about it. So let's see how it works. First thing we're going to do is find a loop that has maybe a full mix. So I've gone to loops and I'm on full. Yeah, let's try this one. So I'm going to drop this on. And first thing I noticed when I was just playing around with it a bit is that it can't be an audio module. So to change something from an audio module to a sampler, all you have to do is either on the hardware, click with the 4D encoder on the little audio module thing and change it to sampler, or in the software, we can go over to audio and just change that to internal and sampler. So once you've done that, now you have got our loop right there. We can click up top and see all of our different sounds. We go to the next one. Now we're kind of looking at the piano roll just for that one sound. And then if we go to the bottom one, we're going to see our audio, where we've done any kind of audio stuff. So if you are on the record tab, you won't see the stems. Just got to click on edit. And now at the audio menu at the bottom, we're going to see this little word stems on the far right. Very cool. And you'll also find that in the hardware itself, so you can navigate to stems from the hardware. We're just going to click it right here in the software, and it's going to do its thing. All right, so it's done. That took about 30 seconds or so. And we can see we've got drums, bass, other, and vocal. I don't see any way to really dig in and customize this as you would in a program like Isotope. So if you want further stem separation, then you're going to have to go to something like Isotope. But let's see what we've got. Here's the drums. Not bad at all, actually. Like really clean. I can't hear a whole lot of the ghosting of the other stuff, and didn't get any of that kind of swishy stuff that happens to things like the hi-hats or higher frequencies. Bass sounds a little muddy. And then we'll go to the other. Hear a bit of drums in the background. Pretty good. Now let's go to the vocal. If we go back to our first group, we can hear that loop again. That voice sounds like exactly the same as it did in the loop. So that's pretty decent. Some pretty decent stem separation, in my opinion. It's never going to be perfect. I haven't ever found a stem separation that is just like flawless, but that is really close, really good. Yeah, I'm impressed. Let's dig into this further in the future. Maybe I'll show you how you could do some stem separation to something like this loop, and then we can go and work with the drums by itself. We can work with the synthy glockenspiel thing by itself. You know, it's going to open up your audio to your projects in a different kind of way. So maybe you find a loop that's just really cool, but you just don't need that instrumental element in there. Or maybe you've already got drums and you just want the instrumental element. So it's a very nice feature that's part of Maschine now. So definitely worth the few dozen dollars that it's going to cost you for the update if you don't get Maschine Central. And I just want to say, on that Maschine Central thing, one thing I think that's really cool about this update is that they're giving us the choice. They're not charging us $100 for the update and saying you have to pay $100 and here's this Maschine Central that you may not even want. They're actually making it optional. So giving us a really low price on the update and then saying if you want this Maschine Central, you have to pay extra on top. So I'm impressed with that. That's a nice thing about this update. There are things I wish that were in here, but that is one nice thing. So anyways, back to the old Jeff. I have one huge complaint right now, and probably my biggest complaint is that it's still not scalable. And the only way to make Maschine bigger for your monitor is to actually make the resolution of your monitor bigger, which shouldn't be the case. We should just be able to make this scale up and look really nice. Can you guys tell me something? Is there some way that I could have the mixer open on Maschine at the same time as all of this stuff? Like just put the mixer up at the top. I'd also love to be able to put the mixer on a separate monitor, but I don't think we can do that. And back when I had the Complete Control Mark II keyboards, I could have the mixer on my keyboard, and I don't think we can even see the mixer yet. So this whole new, basic Complete Control Mark II functionality doesn't bring a mixer to it still, which is kind of crazy. So I will talk a little bit more about Complete Control compatibility later on. I don't think there's any improved DAW integration. So using this inside Cubase or something like that, you're still going to have to jump through all of those hoops to get it to work. And I've made videos on this. In fact, it was my very first YouTube video, was how to put Maschine into Cubase. And I've got another video since then, and it all still applies. So it's still a pain to get Maschine to run inside Cubase, like a huge pain. But wouldn't it be nice to just be able to load Maschine inside your host DAW and just have it work inside there? I would really love to see that kind of improved integration, not make it such a headache to actually have tracks work in there. They are taking this into new territories. They've added the ability to have different tempos at different scenes. And I think that is a big deal, but we still can't take the tempo and ramp it up, as far as I know. So I don't have the manual yet. So if I have to redact that comment, I will. But I don't think there's going to be a way for you to go from one tempo to another over a certain period of time and have it increase or decrease like we would do with other DAWs. So we're still not talking about, extreme control over tempo. It's just kind of basic control. So what other things have they done to the software itself? Well, they've added new MIDI functionality. Right now, if you hit the E button when you're editing MIDI information in Maschine, you can turn into the pencil and you can start drawing things in. And then if you want a key command that actually changes the value that you're entering, you can press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. It'll keep changing the grid here on the bottom as you cycle through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. Say you want to draw in a bunch of eighth notes, I just press the 4 button, and now I click and drag, and it draws in a whole bunch of eighth notes. That was there before, so what else do we have now? I can right-click over top of this area down here, and I can change from select to draw, which we could do before with this little pencil down here. But we can also turn on split. And of course, split's going to split the notes according to whatever your grid is. And with this little button right here turned on, now of course it's kind of like your snap. We can move things freely, or you can just leave this little grid on and now it'll snap to the grid. Now if we right click and choose split, you see that you get this kind of white line that appears over top of the notes. And that's where you're going to cut. And it took me a while to get used to this. And by the way, it doesn't seem to appear if you're outside of the part. So make your part a little bit bigger. And now you can see I can sort of mouse over the top of the note, and we get this little line that appears. And it seems really finicky. Like it'll take me a while to get used to this. It's like such a minuscule amount. It's like right there it pops in. And then as I go a tiny bit lower, it pops out. And this doesn't do anything. So it's a little strange, I gotta say. It's gonna take me some getting used to. I would love to be able to go like option and have it just temporarily turn into the scissors, but right now that's not working. So maybe that's something that comes in the future. Okay, another thing that we have in there is we've got the joins. We can select a whole bunch of notes and it just joins them together. Works just like you would hope it would. And actually it's kind of a neat one. It's kind of the glue tool. And works nicely. Then this one is probably my favorite, the mute tool. I love the mute tool in other DAWs because it gives you a chance to try out something different with your arrangement. So maybe you've got some drums in there, and just for one part, you want to get rid of the hi-hats, so you just mute them. And at any point later on, you can unmute them and try them back on again. So it's nice to have some of this really basic MIDI editing features built into Maschine now. Onto the browser. Nothing much has changed too much here. Let's go over to the groups and hit this little eye so we can see all of our expansions. And here we can see this new Maschine Central that comes with Maschine if you want to pay extra for it. Okay, let's load that up. So, oh shoot, you know what? I can't play the kit from my keyboard because there's no way to switch from keyboard mode on the Mark III to the pad mode like we can do on the Maschine hardware. We need this sorted out quickly because I just want to play the kit here. Maybe I'm missing something, so if I am, I will post it in the description. I'll put a little update in there. But I can't see a way to turn this into, just the group. There's some button right here. I don't know what it does. But it's still not turning it into keyboard mode, no matter what I do. It's showing like just those, no, I don't know what's going on there. So the Maschine Central got a bunch of nice sounding kits. I gotta say they sound nice, but a lot of you are gonna have very specific expansions already that are more about what you want, more about the genres you want. Maybe in a future video, we'll just do a video on Maschine Central and see if it's actually worth it. They've got a couple of Maschine Central projects, a bunch of Maschine Central kits or groups, and then we got individual sounds. So we're in the sound menu right now, which is a little hard to tell which one you're in if you're looking at these things. But yeah, if we go to Maschine Central, we've got a whole bunch of new sounds in here as well, which is kind of cool. Let's see what we've got. We've got bass synths, drum synths, actual instruments, We've got some stuff from Fables, stuff from the Icon bass. Oh, you know what? This could be kind of cool. Let's maybe go to a new group and try loading something up. Let's go to India Sitar. Okay, we've got kind of like a sampling from a whole bunch of their other instruments, like Farlight, Prime Bass, Session Horns. It's kind of cool having some of that in there. Let's see if it sounds okay. Yeah, that sounds okay. Go to staccato. So probably is not near as good as Session Horns Pro, but gives you at least something that everybody would get in Maschine if they were just kind of starting out. And then another one that I use all the time is Session Strings 2. That's not out of tune. Does that sound out of tune yet? Weird. Staccato. So you can tell it's not quite the same as Session Strings 2, a little bit, maybe not as many samples or something in there. Got some taikos. For however much it costs, this is giving you way more than an expansion would. So yeah, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it to get this instead of, specific expansions. And then the other thing that's going to be cool about it is it's going to be compatible apparently with Maschine Plus. So if you have Maschine Plus and you want to take it out on the road, I'm guessing these libraries are pretty light in terms of the samples because we only have, 4 gigs of RAM or something on that. So it's got to be probably made in a way that would allow it to be used consistently with the hardware. So another thing that is sorely missing, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset about this, as far as I can see, I don't see any functionality for polyphonic aftertouch, which this keyboard does have. Doesn't have MPE, but it does have polyphonic aftertouch. And there's nothing for that in Maschine, which we're sorely missing. And then I also don't see anything for MPE. So using something like the Osmos, still just a dream so far for Maschine. And I feel like that's something we need. We need that soon. And then the other thing I'm going to do now is just show you what the Complete Control Mark III compatibility is. And what I would say is it's got really basic. When they say basic, they weren't kidding. And I do like that they said basic. At least they're being honest there. And we've got things like you can press play now, which we always should have been able to, but now we can. We can press record and then play and then start recording. We've got the loop on and off. We've got the metronome on and off. We've got the play assist stuff that comes with the keyboard. So the scales and the arps and stuff like that. And then the other thing it's got is just a really basic screen that shows you, like if you're using a sampler, it gives you these controls that you see right underneath here. So where you see voice settings, I now can control those straight from the hardware. I can go over to the next page, which is pitch and envelope. And actually you see it change on the software, which is a nice touch. So now I can go to the effects and the filter and start adjusting the compressor, the drive. So this kind of stuff is useful for sure, and it looks nice. And if I have effects on something, so like this one right here, I've got the sampler track, I've got a compressor, and if I just arrow over at the top, I can get to the compressor, and then now in the compressor, I've got 2 pages, and I can adjust all of those. So we are finally getting some hands-on compatibility and stuff we can do with the keyboard, which is nice, but we still can't add an effect from the keyboard, which we could do before on the old one. We could do all sorts of stuff with Maschine specifically from the hardware itself, and I don't think that's coming back. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. So I am still kind of hoping that in the future we have even more compatibility. Like I should be able to press the button and switch back from keyboard mode to pad mode. I should be able to add effects and stuff like that from this hardware itself. Maybe that's just a dream. One thing I also will note is that the jog wheel doesn't work. I don't know what it's doing. It's like triggering a note or something. Anyways, let me know what you think about this new Maschine update in the nicest possible way. Because I'm just a dude trying to show this stuff off, and I don't work for the company. I really love the company, and I want them to do well. That's why I get really passionate. And when I see that certain things are missing that I was hoping that would be in here, I do get kind of bummed, just like the rest of you. I don't need Maschine to be a DAW. I don't need to make entire songs in Maschine. I love the environment for how fast I can create something. I've never played with software like it. I've never played with hardware like it. There's nothing like that on the market, in my opinion. I just love the sampling workflow. I don't need Maschine to have video import or comping or anything like that. I can do all of that kind of stuff in my proper DAW. What I would love to see is the ability to incorporate Maschine into my DAW much more smoothly. I think that would be such a big win for Native Instruments. Let me know what you think about that. Would you rather see Maschine become an entire complete DAW, or would you rather see Maschine just be a super easy thing to integrate into whatever DAW you're actually using? So, and sorry if DAW is a word you hate. I kind of don't like it either, but it's faster than DAW. Anyways, let me know what you think about it all. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.